Write like a man. Use a typewriter.
The first question I had for you was, what does the editing process look like for Stephen Pressfield?
That's I have had the same editor, Sean Coyne, since Gates of Fire, which was 1998 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so basically, he has been my total guru. That I just
Cool.
sort of when I reach the point with a project where I just can't take it any farther, where I'm getting lost in my head, then let me go back to the beginning. From the very minute that I have an idea, I run it past him, with the, asking him, first of all, is it any good? Is there any commercial prospects for this or whatever? And he will usually give me the okay based on, or he'll direct me in a certain way. Like, you guys are game for a long answer here.
No, it's great. Go, please.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll give you a longer answer.
Okay.
Like, when I had the idea to write The Lion's Gate, which was a book about the 6-Day War, the Arab-Israel War of 1967. So I laid that idea on Sean, and the reason I started with it saying that, I've written books about the Spartans, about the Macedonians, the Athenians, but I've never done one about my own people,
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do it. Plus it was such a great story,
Yeah.
Israel outnumbered 40-1 and in 6 days won this great victory. So I asked him, should I do this as fiction? Should I invent, excuse me, here's the phone.
Yeah, no problem.
Should I do it as fiction, and create characters, and he said, no, you can't do that. Because there are, the war is so recent that there are tens of thousands of people who fought in it, so, and actually it turned out that Herman Wouk, who wrote the Caine Mutiny and, Winds of War, he wrote a couple of books about the 6-Day War as fiction. And I'm sure they did a lot better than mine, but when I read them, I thought this was a mistake. So Sean said to me, you got to do it as narrative nonfiction. Now, I said to him, what's that? This goes to show you what an idiot, I could be after 30 years of working. So he had to sort of give me a course in what narrative nonfiction was. And what did he cite me? What was that?
Band of Brothers.
It was a book and a movie about Mogadishu, about the U.S. forces.
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down, I think.
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
He said Black Hawk Down. That's narrative nonfiction. In other words, it really happened. It's true. It's nonfiction, but it's told as a story, so that the writer interviews everybody that he possibly can, and then shapes it into a story. Establishes a theme and where does it start? What's Act 1? What's Act 2? Act 3? So Sean kind of instructed me. He said, that's what you have to do with this book. You got to go to Israel. You got to interview, as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And then you've got to shape that raw material into what you think a story is. So that's part of what an editor does, at least for me. He actually defined a genre for me that I was clueless about. But in terms of fiction, to keep going with our long answer here, with A Man at Arms, when I finished the manuscript, I sent it to Sean, and he usually sends me back, like a 12-page or 20 pages of notes. But in this case, he went through the whole manuscript with a track changes thing, that thing you do on the side.
Yep.
And he would say, he had maybe 4 or 5 kind of major points that he wanted to make.
Really?
There was one character that I had, the character of David. You guys have read the book.
Yeah.
The character of David, who was the young boy that follows the hero.
Nick's favorite character.
The boy, yeah.
And I had him live at the end, and Sean said, no, you got to kill him.
Yeah.
He's got to die at the end. Somebody's got to die at the end. And he kind of cited various, precedents, other stories, other movies. And he convinced me of that and a few other things, And So he gave me like these 4 or 5 points that he thought I should change, and then he gave me line by line various comments. And one of the things that was tremendously helpful was when he came to a part that he really liked, he would praise it,
Yeah.
and he would say, "Oh, this is great! This is a great twist. You got to keep that." And that was very helpful because a lot of times, as you guys know, you have like a scene in a book, right, in Heavenly Realms or whatever you're working on, where you go, "Oh, I think this is really good, but maybe it's really bad."
Yeah.
Yeah, been there.
Doubtful,
I got a lot of those,
because-
Steve.
Because usually those scenes take a risk, right?
Yes.
Have I gone too far,
Yeah.
And so left to your own devices, you might over worry and cut it.
Yeah.
So it was really great that Sean would say to me, "No, this is great. Keep this. You got to have, in fact, make it bigger."
Yeah.
So that's basically the way it goes with him and me. In some books, he has really sent me back to the drawing board, for like another 9 months of work, that kind of thing. But
Wow.
in the latest one, it wasn't too bad. But sometimes he has.